And welcome to another episode of Who Gives a Hoot? Because of our lack of games, Open Cup edition. So if you've been following the team at all, you know we've played one league game and one Open Cup game. So with this coming Wednesday's game, we can be considered a primarily pro-rel focused team. We are hashtag pro-rel. We just don't care about the USL League One season anymore. Just don't even want to play it.
We really love the NCAA tournament structure with it being March, and why not just have every game mean everything?
I mean, higher stakes, arguably more prestigious players. I think we can definitely say more prestigious players with the Menace.
I mean, one of these competitions has been going for over 100 years.
Yeah, almost continuously, except
for COVID.
Except for COVID.
Oh, I thought we were going to make a joke about years experience for some of Menace's new players. Combined years experience.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Let's be friendly.
Combined years experience, they're older than the country.
Combined years experience, if you count youth, it might be 100 years.
Yeah.
For three players.
But let's cover the league news before we jump into the real meat of this. Game in Chattanooga postponed. They apparently do not have a project manager to finish their project on time. And this time, instead of lights, they just did not have grass. They had nothing for us to play on. So, good job, Chattanooga. Good job.
And, I mean, we've played one league game so far. And just watching the rest of the league keep going, right? Like, we're going to play our second league game after other people have played 5.
Yes.
So, like, we're 7th in the table right now, but it means nothing. It means nothing.
We're 7th in the table, undefeated.
Yeah.
It's going to be like watching one of those, like, for example, if you are on Reddit, like the Data is Beautiful subreddit, where they will show how popular certain things were over time. Like, let's just say it's fast food restaurant with the most chains, and you're sitting there waiting for, okay, I'm waiting for Subway, and you know Omaha's going to be like Subway in like the late 2010s. Towards the end of the season, when we actually start playing our games and climb over everybody else.
Yes. I guess other league news, as far as it pertains to specifically to Union Omaha, is we added a player with another forward. That puts us up to 7 forwards per team. Zako Lewis, who I think it's Zako. I'm going to assume it's Zako. If I'm wrong, somebody correct me.
I believe it is Zako.
Let me say, I thought you had the pronunciation up. Yeah. Yeah. But he's from Sacramento, right?
Yeah, came from Sacramento. He was
a Bermuda international.
And it seems like his role kind of permanently changed last season, starting around the end of August. Primarily was kind of just like a 50-50 player. If he wasn't starting, he was subbing. And then after, once it hit September, just primarily became a sub. And mostly lining up as a forward position player. So I see him as a forward in League One, especially, at his age. He's not 30 yet. You will even see players move from Championship to League One that are older, who are maybe kind of an attacking mid position, playing primarily as forward once they move to League One. So I don't see how Lewis isn't playing as a forward.
Yeah, I mean, he's got the championship experience, which is huge. Collegiate experience. Looks like he played for BC. And then 40 international caps with Bermuda.
A first round super draft pick
Yeah. So he's good. He's got experience. He's not particularly old, so I think it's a good ad for us.
Yeah, I'm curious where he fits in, just because we've only had the 2 games to gauge like what we're going to be playing. Really, it looks like it's a 3-back, maybe.
It definitely was against Western Mass, and I don't know if that was strategic with Chattanooga in mind the following weekend.
So yeah, I don't know, but it's curious to see how we start fitting things in. Like Rodriguez has come in more and started when I didn't necessarily think he would start right off the bat. So that was an interesting roster decisions. I know we've had some players out, like Lagos has been out for a little bit with something, and we'll see when people all get back who's kind of the first players to be chosen.
Well, and we're deep enough at forward that I feel like we can adjust to any team's defense right now. I think we're going to see a lot more fluidity in our lineups this season, just based on depth at back. Like we have fantastic defensive line. Our midfield is strong. It's not super deep, but strong enough there. And forwards, we've whether we're playing 3 across the top, 2 strikers, however it goes, we can really adapt to pretty much anybody in this league right now. But can we adapt to the Des Moines Menace retirement team?
The Faded Stars. Well, Faded Stars plus former players of ours.
Former players. I mean, it's going to be very bittersweet. Eddie Gordon, former UNO player, playing at UNO's Caniglia Field against his former team, Union Omaha.
Yeah.
Hurts a little bit there.
It really does.
Not going to be cheering against Eddie, but I'm not going to be happy if he scores.
You could just talk to the life size cutout of him in the stands if you don't want to watch him instead, because I'm going to try and make that cutout make an appearance. It might he might ride the bus.
It does wear a different jersey than he will be.
Do we bring it? Do we draw a mustache on it? Like, I mean, what?
No,
what
unadulterated. Don't mess with that. Local legend.
He is local legend Eddie Gordon. So, also Gabriel Claudio, the Honey Badger, has featured for the Menace this season in their Open Cup run. So he will be making a return to Omaha. Looks like he's out of contract with any league sides. So be interesting to see him back. I know some chants are being worked on at his expense. So
I'm trying to think, not a lot of players on the roster that he played with. Shido and Dion, that might be it.
Yeah.
Did he come in after Blake?
Yeah, because Blake was championship season.
Yeah. Ryan.
I don't want to forget everybody. He would have played with Ryan. You're right.
Yeah. Yeah. Everybody else was last year ads.
Yeah, because just going through some of this roster, just for fun, at goalkeeper you have Brian Rowe, who was in the MLS with LA Galaxy and some others. You have AJ De La Garza, who was also in the MLS with this like famous LA Galaxy teams during the early 2010s. You have Sasha Kleshchin, who with U.S. men's national team, New York Red Bulls, and other places as well that he played all throughout MLS. You have Roger Espinosa, Honduras, I think, international.
Yeah, he's Honduran international.
Yeah, and played with Kansas City for a long time.
Yes,
spouse of Lola Bonta as well. So we'll see if she'd be wanting to come up to watch the game. Who knows?
They got a bye week.
Yeah,
I was waiting for Kyle Beckerman to sign. I just now realize that he's actually a coach.
just other like classic players like that, right? You're like early 2010s MLS players, yeah, early to mid.
Kyle Beckerman is apparently the head coach at Utah Valley.
Oh,
I mean, I wouldn't necessarily want to normally run on the pitch and fight a player, but if Beckerman showed up, I might want to do it. But
oh man.
These are guys who, like, they're playing advanced level, adult leagues now. They're not flat on their feet, but Espinoza is a full year out of contract now.
No, I played last year.
No, I think he played last year. Kleshchin was, though. I think Kleshchin was a full year out of contract.
Okay.
And he went 120 minutes in their win too.
Well, 120 minutes plus
penalties.
So
yeah.
Espinoza has played against us.
Did he play in that game?
Yeah, I believe he did.
Okay, I'm gonna look this up.
Yeah.
He didn't start. He did come in off the bench.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why the hell is he coming in off the bench in a 6-0 game?
He was already kind of like out of the main roster rotation or injured or something that season. Forget what it was. But he's seen Shido at work up close and personal. Like, because honestly, I think that was Shido's. It's hard to say that was Shido's best game, but honestly, I think that was Shido's best game.
It was such a good game for the
first half was his best half.
Exactly. The first half, he had some incredible saves.
Like I just remember running into a whole bunch of SKC supporters at that game. They're like, how the hell do you have this guy? Like, that was also a year where Sporting's keeper situation was kind of tenuous. They were not super thrilled with us having a keeper that was literally, I'm pretty sure he stood on his head that game.
Oh, yeah.
But in addition to the big MLS stars, you have Luis Arriaga on there, who's 23, played NCFC.
He features them a lot. He was definitely a regular.
Yeah, and I think he was with the Monarchs with Jay. So, like, they're bringing in the old guns, but the young guys worry me just about as much.
Yeah, I think they have Diego Rocha as well, who was part of Charlotte and Rio Grande Valley Toros. So like they have just a bunch of people, like a bunch of really good people.
They have 20. They have 27 on their roster. If you believe that the USL League 2 roster is the updated page.
that is something we do have to say.
It should be 29 because De La Garza and Espinoza are not on that list.
Yeah.
We can't verify some of these. Like, we're going off of announced signings since the last U.S. Open Cup match, and what was played there as ones we know for certain. Because if you're looking ESPN or Transfer Market, they're also showing Ethan Benacore-Decker, which he might get injured before the game. Who knows?
Did he finish the season with the team last year?
Was he still under contract with the Kickers?
Yeah, was it Richmond?
I think he was with Richmond still last year. But I did throw out for some questions on Twitter, just seeing what people are feeling. I think we already kind of touched on this one from CJ was, will Levante be at the match?
Maybe.
We're 2 hours away from Kansas City. It's a bye week for the Current. I think the
two 2 hours. Oh man, you must drive that fast.
I live on 29, so.
Oh, that's fair. Okay.
I don't have to deal with that cut across Omaha BS. But add that in, you maybe end up with some extra Current players that are like, hey, it's a Wednesday night. What else do we have going on? Could be a fun one. It's not going to be the nicest night out there. I think the game starts at 50 degrees. It'll be 27 by the end of it.
Oof.
Are you kidding me?
I didn't see that it was that bad.
I need to plan better, guys.
Like this, I would highly recommend layering for this game.
Oh boy, because I knew it was raining like Monday tomorrow, but okay.
Granted, I haven't looked at the weather in a couple days, so that may have changed, but that was going for me. I think Thursday is the last time I looked. We're recording this on Sunday.
I mean, yeah, the high is 54, the low is 29. So
yeah.
WWT right now is just getting into that range for the hourly forecast, and it's got like a 51 kickoff, 45 end of game.
Because it is slightly later. It's a 7:30 start at UNO. I feel like I haven't seen the team talk about it much on anything. But
they put out a nice tweet about it today on Easter, saying get some tickets. So I don't know where their ticket sales are lying. It's gonna be fun. Like that.
It's gonna be great. Plus, it's also Open Cup. Open Cup is just very special. Like I don't know about both of you, but when I first started following soccer, especially here in the U.S., that was one of the first things I latched on to was the Open Cup, because I really love that. The lower idea. Everyone loves the FA Cup in England, and we have a similar thing here. So
you love the giant beaters.
Exactly.
It's the only semblance of pro rel we have in the U.S. It's a huge.
It's a proof of purchase too, because you have FC Cincinnati, who they're in MLS because of the Open Cup.
Yeah,
because they did so well in the Open Cup one year that it got attention. They were drawing 40,000 people. They were beating MLS teams, and then they got attention. So
yeah, like it is definitely a great way. I mean, I don't think Union Omaha would have a stadium on the plans if not for that deep run in the Open Cup. Like I think there would still be very much in the discussion phases. You wouldn't have concept drawings. You wouldn't have potential groundbreaking dates. Like without the Open Cup, it just wouldn't be there.
Yeah.
To jump back to weather, winds are going to be 17 to 22 miles an hour with gusts as high as 33.
Oh, Nebraska.
That wouldn't be the first time we've played a windy game at Caniglia.
No, it wouldn't. But this is brand new for a lot of our guys. I mean, Shido's played in the wind enough over the years, but this is 33-mile-an-hour gusts is going to be a big challenge.
I will say it might be a little bit sheltered because it is kind of in a little bit of a bowl.
Yeah, it's in that bowl.
And the grandstand is on the west side, which a lot of times the wind will come from the west. So that might be helpful in like blocking some of it.
Northwest wind.
Okay. Well,
I'm trying to remind
this
myself.
is weather.gov, so I kind of trust them.
we do have the tree cover on the north side, but
Yeah.
I'm trying to remind myself of the orientation of the field.
it is north-south, I believe. Off.
Yes.
Okay, so
as I drive by it.
So it's north-south. That means the west is where the stands are.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Which, if the sun sets like 20 minutes after kickoff, it's probably not going to play a factor at all.
Yeah.
Wednesday night, blustery with 9 to 18 mile an hour, gusts as high as 26 mile an hour. So, going to be a windy evening. Dress accordingly. But these guys flying in from Southern California to play for the Menace.
Where was their last game?
I think it was in LA.
Was it in LA? Okay.
They were playing some Mesa side.
They played Capo FC's in Capistrano. That's not what it's actually called.
Yeah, I know some of the NISA team names. I didn't know that one, so I was just like, I don't know.
I know they call it Capistrano, but it's Juan Capistrano. That's the city in California. Yeah. It's very Southern California. It's Orange County.
Okay.
All right. Let's jump to this question from the Society DSM, which, if you are unfamiliar with the Society, they are leading supporter group for the Des Moines Menace and will likely be in attendance. How do you feel knowing that we are bringing legends to play against you? Bring it.
It is interesting because, I mean, they were doing this already. I mean, even the time that we beat them 2 years ago, they brought in Herzog. I mean, not to the scale, but they brought in Corey Herzog, who then played for us later in the year.
Are you saying we signed Roger Espinoza? The midfield is looking a little thin.
Oh, I mean, we'll see. But yeah, it's very interesting though that like Des Moines really likes to employ this strategy. It's just that it's even more than they have in the past.
Well, it definitely, they have such a deep alumni list that being able to pull that, guys who are recently out of professional want to get an extra couple games in front of a TV, in front of fans, like it's a good feeling for them. They're going to be playing a more rigid style, I think, because you're 4-4-2 or just sticking with that, something that's easy to like jump into. Everybody's played a million times, so you're not standard national team style play is what you see from sides like the Menace who are bringing in ringers. Like you don't expect fancy positioning on like a random tournament for a national team. You expect like, or the friendlies where you're bringing in a whole bunch of people who haven't played together often or at all. Like you do something everybody knows and you hope it's hard to break down. So I think Dom could have a chance with our roster to really poke holes in that if that's how it goes down. We have a lot of creative pieces in there that I think will wreak some havoc.
I'm very curious if speed will be a factor, because
I was going to say I want him to play guys that can run.
Yeah, Because like we talked about it, they're not all older players, right? They brought in a couple of really like in their prime players who played in League One before. But you probably can beat a few people when you're like going up against maybe like a question or a one of them. Like you might have a chance to just beat them on a dribble, just because they're a bit faster. So I don't know.
So do we play the Brazilians?
Well, I'm curious if Lagos is healthy, playing Lagos, because not only did he play for the Menace before he came to us, so that's a the other way from Eddie and them.
Yeah.
He was also seemed to be very interested in us playing the Menace. So I think on the night of that we won, I think he tweeted something or liked something about.
Oh, he's like, this is the
I think he just asked
matchup
to
I
make it
hope for, or
happen.
something.
Mm-hmm. So like he definitely seemed fully bought into it too. So I hope he's healthy. I'd love to see him play in this game.
I think he would be a great fit there. I mean, he's a fantastic fit, healthy. I want to say we have one or two other former Menace players. Did Wallace play for the Menace?
I don't know. I'm like I have to go through all of them on Transfer Hub or Transfer Market.
Yeah.
He did. He did when he was in college.
Yeah. So, like, they got some legends to go against here. What's his handle? Lapsley.
I don't know what it is.
I just gotta throw some salt on the wounds. But no, so we got some former Menace players. Honestly, this with the Menace still talking, seems less and less solid these days, but still talking about getting up to the championship. Us being on the road to the championship by 26. Like this is going to turn into an I-80 rivalry. It's not a game to miss.
That's definitely been the hope, right? Right, is eventually having a team this close to us, and also it probably being Des Moines. So I'd love to see it continue to grow. I really like that we're playing them again. So yeah, it'd be interesting.
But we got like there's a lot of potential for some future fun getting in on the ground floor. So
I think what this tournament needs for future fun, if you want to get into the spirit of recent tournament sponsorship announcements, and the fact that U.S. Open Cup has currently, I believe, Michelob Ultra as a sponsor. What
are
sounds
you?
more fun, Michelob Ultra or Jaeger?
I mean, I will say the USL League One. Yeah, because that's happened since the last time we recorded. The League One Cup or whatever the hell it is.
Let's go.
Mid-season random tournament.
Jaeger
It's
Cup
called-
final. Jaeger Cup final tailgate. I want it. I want it so bad. It is going to be nothing but chaos.
Yeah, that would
It's
be some
gonna-
bad decisions.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting this first year. I really hope that next year they can bring USLC into it, because that'd be great.
Yeah. Well, JR, to your point, there is a question that kind of relates to from TJ asking if Pellets and TJ will regret their drinking decisions on a work night. Not so much with the Michelob, but if we're the Jägermeister US Open Cup, and Goldschlager U.S. Open Cup, like just throwing all sorts of fun there. Like we could see some real rough Thursday mornings.
We could have like Nations League style relegation, and you go to play for the Zima Shield if you get demoted.
Oh. Instead of doing like the little ball draw, it's sponsored by Smirnoff Ice. Reach in, just pull out Smirnoff Ice. We can turn this into a real shit show. All right, Union Omaha starting lineup.
Oh boy!
Don't ask me.
I would not be surprised to see a back three again. I mean, I think Shido's a lock as long as he's healthy. He's a lock. Who do we see? We saw Blake.
Luca, Blake, and Marco all played.
Yeah.
And we're trying to figure out.
Like who.
He subbed on.
Okay.
Wait, no, he did start. No, he did sub on.
Because I thought one person didn't start, or like a person who started the first game subbed on in the second game, and vice versa.
Mishak subbed on and got a card very quick.
Okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was trying to figure out, okay, who's the other outside back, and it was obvious that Marco was not playing left back. Marco was just on the left side playing in a 3 center back formation, which was kind of a surprise. I was not expecting that. And I don't know if it's frightening with all of the players that we have announced as forwards that we're only playing 3 in the back, especially with as deep as we are at defense. But let's be honest, if like guys like Ryan are starting, Will Perkins, who's started the first 2 games, I don't know why he wouldn't start again.
And he's been playing in that he's been playing in that advanced position too. Perkins and then Jiba can do that too, right?
He's played very high, and you could see the difference in the first 2 games where in Fresno they were really, really heavily attacking on the right-hand side. Rodriguez was so busy in the first half when he played, and it's sort of allowed, like Pedro was listed as starting as a left mid. He basically played in the middle of the field the whole game because the ball was on that side of the field so often. They then put Gallardo closer to the left, put Pedro in the middle, and they just put the ball entirely on the left-hand side against Western Mass. So these guys can flex positions and not just try to like surprise you just with the lineup, but also surprise you after the lineup is announced with the style that they play and where they attack from.
Well, and that speaks to, like, again, the creativity I was talking about with this team earlier is we always call Dion kind of the Swiss Army knife. Like, he's able to play wherever you put him. I feel like we've got, a full armory of Swiss Army knives. And like, there's not a whole lot of need for being set on any one specific thing. When you've got guys that are versatile, you can sub on a player to add to any position and still be covered. Like that's definitely something I feel with this squad. We've got center backs that can play wide easily enough. And with our midfield's not super deep, but we have forwards that can play midfield. We have defenders that can play midfield. Seeing some of our defenders play that 6th position wouldn't surprise me at all. And really just kind of put us into a much more versatile, adaptable side. You throw on another attacker, you can switch to 4 in the back, 5 in the back without, really like just sub off a midfielder or sub off anyone, and it'll be adapted without having to make 2 subs to change your position just a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah, and I guess if we're talking players, just like you were saying, because it's so hard with positions. But we've seen Dos Santos start up top. I feel like we're gonna still see him again. I feel like we're gonna see Rodriguez start again. I feel like we're gonna see Gallardo start, especially after his last performance. So I would say I would have those people. Exactly how they line up, like you said, who knows? It could be very different. But I feel like we'll probably see at least those 3 kind of up top. Probably Norte in the middle. We'll kind of see where else people go.
Yeah, and that versatility is something that's definitely going to lead to being harder to predict lineups, I think, throughout the season. I don't think we'll get locked in quite as much as you want or expect, not necessarily want. I do want to say I want to see Rodriguez hit a fucking banger. As Misael shooting a missile, like that's just poetry. Like he may be my 35-yard banger heckle this year.
Do we know do we know if any USL broadcasters, announcers listen to this podcast?
If you do, let us know.
One way to find out.
Yeah. So maybe someday. Maybe someday we'll find out. Ross used to, but I don't know if he's doing League One this year.
It's hard to tell. Have we had a weekend with? We've had 1 weekend with 5 games, right?
I think so.
But weekend, not. Were they 5? I don't remember there were even 5 games on the same day. It is so hard.
I think the most we've had is 3 on one day.
It is so hard to figure out.
They were
the schedule.
staggered times. Well, let's jump into the next one. Next question. I think this is probably a good way to kind of wrap it up. Score predictions.
This part's not fun. It's not fun. It's not fun for me. I like being right. Luke, you're just gonna say 3-0 every time, and you're fine with that.
Or just avoid the question. It's either that or avoid the question.
This is a new season, new Open Cup. I could have a new score prediction.
You maybe graduated to 4-0. Congratulations. Wait, wasn't that the final score of the last game? Yes, it was. Okay. Kyle, you go first then.
Yeah. I'm gonna say either 2-1 or 3-2. I would not be surprised if it went to extra time and then we won in extra time. Just because, I think it's going to be a very, very well fought game, and I hope that's true. Maybe the conditions make that not so, but I really hope it's a really good game.
Well, they drew 2-2 against Capo, went extra time, full 120, and then went to PKs. Like, granted, they didn't have De La Garza or Espinoza there, or theoretically Vanek or Decker. Do we see the same quality they put against Capo against us? Because I think we played significantly better than either team in that game.
Capo's not your typical Nisa. They have a history before Nisa. I think, if I'm not mistaken, they kind of were rushed to the pro side this year because Nisa was desperate to get teams.
Nisa is desperate.
And so I think they're kind of like they're maybe going to be considered the West Coast team that might give LA Force some kind of like regular kind of normal opponent that operates the same way they do. So they beat an East side, but it's still like I call it a pro side. Also, a team that I don't think we had any idea who their players were going to be because Nisa was supposed to start their season and didn't, and we were learning a lot about their rosters during these Open Cup games. So, we're a much more professional organization, obviously, with
Yeah.
a lot more better players with a lot more experience, and I'm going to say 3-1. I'm going to say 3-1, but I'm going to go with Kyle and say it's 3-1 in extra time, which is even crazier. So 3-1, but extra time.
You can answer, you're going to avoid it.
We're thinking Shido's in goal.
Yeah.
Hell, we don't play this weekend.
We're playing 3 in the back.
Probably with wingbacks. That'd be my guess. But it could be different. Who knows?
Healthy Jiba.
He got minutes last time.
And it's been 2 weeks. So
yeah. I think we see 3-1. But not going to extra time because it's too damn cold for that. So, but it's 1-1 at half. UO picks up 2 in the second. I think our stamina is going to be better than guys who haven't been playing consistently. And I think we pick up 2 in the second half unanswered.
I just hope our fitness is good because we haven't really gotten into our season yet either. That's my only worry since we've played so few games.
I wonder if anything changed with the plans for the week and the weekend once we knew we weren't going to Chattanooga. Like the guys were probably going to practice on Friday in Chattanooga. Did they practice here on Friday? I don't know if they even had a chance to. They would have had to have booked a field. I don't know the logistics behind that. Could they get a run in somewhere?
Well, I mean, it was really nice weather on Friday, so yes, they could definitely get a run in somewhere.
Did not see them at Chalco when I was there, but who knows? They could have went early.
Yeah, but I mean, there are enough places for them to get fitness in, enough gyms where they could have hit. Like I'm not worried about them keeping their fitness up just because we haven't played a game. I think their fitness is probably better than if we'd had travel in there. So I think that 3-1 and our fitness is going to be something. So
I do like the idea of having an extra length of time off from the weather they had in the last game.
Yeah. All right. I got one last question. Who gives a hoot? We do.
We do.